CTV News with Angela Mackenzie.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. As the reality of an all-out trade war between Canada and the U.S. sets in on both sides of the border today, the rift between the two major trading partners is reverberating. CTV's Jeremy Sharon reports.
A Sunday at the Washington Grand Prix for U.S. President Donald Trump, who for the first time overnight weighed in on failed trade talks with Canada, leading to an all-out trade war. Canada wants the benefits of being a state without being one, the president said on social media. They have also charged our great farmers for many years massive amounts of tariffs, no more.
To think that they're going to go to war with Donald Trump and actually win that war with the U.S., I think it's foolish on their part.
The U.S.'s fight with Canada over trade getting major play on American network TV today.
As trade talks with Canada fall apart.
It's Canada versus the United States.
With the president facing pushback already at home.
I think the last thing we need right now, as our economy is getting back on its feet, is a trade war with Canada.
American business groups are speaking out against escalations, pointing to rising costs for the American people, asking both sides to get back to the negotiating table.
Donald Trump cares about the business class. He cares about those billionaires. They don't want this, and they're speaking out.
Prime Minister Mark Carney has promised retaliatory measures set to be imposed September 8th. Some suggest creating a window of opportunity.
There may be an opportunity in this pause for the American side to regroup and to become a bit more coherent.
Though public polling here prior to the breakdown in talks suggests the Prime Minister has the political capital to keep fighting back.
I think that we're going to have to see real change on the American side, a weakened political position, a drive and a desire that it's in their self-interest to strike a deal before we get back to the table in any meaningful way.
Prime Minister Mark Carney has promised dollar-for-dollar retaliatory tariffs, but a list of goods has yet to be released. Jeremy Sharon, CTV News, Ottawa.
The French language has become a contentious point in trade negotiations. French was listed as one of the key issues that forced Canada to suspend talks with the U.S. In recent years, the U.S. identified two Quebec language laws as trade barriers. Matt Grillo reports.
Quebec's premier said it was a red line that could not be crossed, and the Prime Minister was right for halting talks, as the French language and Quebec culture became key sticking points in the negotiation.
Our culture, our language is central to our identity, and it is important to exclude that of the negotiation table.
It may have surprised some, but it's not the first time the U.S. is at odds with Quebec language laws. Last year, Bill 96, Quebec's update to the French language charter, caught the attention of the Trump administration, who listed it as a foreign trade barrier. The law requires products sold in Quebec to have a French description, and trademarks using generic terms have to be translated into French.
The bilingual packaging is a barrier to trade. It's not that much different than tariffs or quotas or interprovincial barriers. It harms the ability for businesses to freely sell their products.
And then there's Bill 109 that seeks to promote Quebec culture online, meaning streaming services like Netflix, Spotify, and Apple have to promote and prioritize French content for Quebec users.
We're still waiting for specific regulations under Bill 109, which is now law. So we don't know exactly sort of how much French needs to be embedded in content, how the interfaces for streamers like Netflix and Amazon Prime and Disney Plus would need to change.
In March, the U.S. also called Bill 109 a potential trade barrier.
I don't think when Bill 109 was initially introduced that we could have foreseen that it would come to this, and yet here we are.
The Prime Minister said during negotiations there were threats against the French language and Quebec culture.
Continual efforts, always resisted, as I said in my remarks, and always will be resisted. Efforts to restrict our protections of our language, our culture, and in effect, our sovereignty.
It's all part of trade negotiations, says this economist.
Everybody's going to have their own standards, their own rules, their own institutions, and their own history and culture. And they're going to build a system on those things. And so somebody from the outside is going to say, wait a second, I don't agree with that.
It was clearly a step too far for Canada, with Ottawa unwilling to compromise on French language protections. Matt Grillo, CTV News.
And since trade talks have broken down, the Premier confirms American wine and spirits will not be returning to SAQ shelves. Freshwater and Carney will be together tomorrow to announce a major investment in defense. Well, provincial police are looking for witnesses after a teen was seriously injured in what may have been a hit and run. The SQ says it happened before 1 in the morning in Les Cèdres. A driver found a hurt 15-year-old boy on the side of Canal Street. His crashed scooter was nearby. The teenager was taken to hospital in critical condition.
Investigators are seeking to speak with anyone who witnessed the incident. They are also asking anyone who saw a vehicle in the area with damage consistent with a collision with a mop to come forward.
Anyone with information is asked to call 1-800-659-4262. Well, a 29-year-old man is in critical condition after being injured by a sharp object last night. It happened in an apartment on Côte des Neiges on Dupuis Street near Victoria. Now, according to Montreal police, the exact cause of the injury is still unknown. A 49-year-old man was arrested at the scene and is now considered an important witness. Well, the future of a centuries-old farmhouse in the West Island is up in the air. Maison Michel Robillard has been deteriorating for years, and now residents in the area are calling for help. Anastasia Dextrine reports.
Along Chemin Sainte-Marie off the Trans-Canada Highway lies a piece of Sainte-Anne-de-Bellevue's past. The ruins of Maison Michel Robillard carry a rich history.
The road that this house is on was one of the first roads on the island of Montreal.
City Councillor Ryan Young says the Robillard family acquired the agricultural area on which the structure sits in the early 1700s. The farmhouse itself dates back to 1797.
It was in their family, the Robillard family, for just about 5 generations. It was a dairy farm. There was a huge, beautiful dairy barn beside the house. And so many people in Sainte-Anne-de-Bellevue still remember that farm, knew the people who lived there. I had a high school friend who used to rent one of the little outbuildings.
The house burned in a fire in 2012, but the bones remain. It was made a heritage site in 2014, and Young says he's been pushing to restore it despite demolition talks for years. The building is owned by Sainte-Anne-de-Bellevue, and the land surrounding it is owned by a developer.
We do have an agreement with Montreal where Montreal would purchase land around the building to access the park, and we would be responsible for some sort of welcoming chalet.
Young says estimates for restoring Maison Michel Robillard and building around it have ranged from $1.5 to $6 million. And he says there's reason to invest. With the Anse à l'Orme REM station having opened across the street, crowds could pick up. So the town is calling on officials to help. In a statement to CTV News, Sainte-Anne-de-Bellevue Mayor Michel Boudreau said the intention is not to demolish the structure of the house until an alternative project has been developed. He says the council wants to work toward a consensual project.
We need the help from the province. We need help from the agglomeration of Montreal. And I think we need help from the federal government. And where are these politicians when we're looking at the last chance to save this building?
As Young continues to fight, he hopes to see a plan on paper that leads to progress on the ground. Anastasia Dextrine, CTV News.
Drivers that take the Illitorte Bridge overnight will have to find alternative routes this week. There are still several overnight closures planned to allow Transport Quebec crews to carry out inspections. Tonight and tomorrow, the westbound 40 service road leading up to the bridge will be closed from 10:30 to 5 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. Then starting Monday night, the bridge itself will be closed in the eastbound direction from midnight until 5 a.m. The overnight closures will continue until Thursday night. Drivers are encouraged to take the Gallipo Bridge instead. Well, bike theft is nothing new in Montreal, but as Daniel J. Rowe reports, thieves are targeting more and more expensive bikes, and it's more difficult to secure them.
The garage door was locked, security cameras were rolling, and Kim Bruno's cargo bike was firmly secured to a steel bike rack.
He waited for a car to come out, and then he snuck in with his tools. He roamed around all the parkings to find, I guess, the best bicycle, which was mine. He went straight to it, cut the lock and took off with it, leaving his own stolen bike behind.
Alovelo sells and rents cargo bikes, and they're expensive, costing as much as $13,000. Co-owner Lamar Timmons says he is seeing an increase in demand for families, businesses, and even cities wanting these bikes.
A lot of the delivery companies are already doing it, and especially in the summer when you have no car zone like Montreal, Wellington, and Verdun. So it's a lot easier to do your deliveries with the cargo bikes instead of the truck.
For the past 4 years, over 2,500 riders reported their bikes stolen to police. Good locks, cameras, and storing bikes in a closed parking garage can be a deterrent. But Bruno had all of these, yet her bike was still stolen.
And as soon as we opened the garage door, she was like, "Mommy, where's our bike?" And just my heart sank in that minute because Ella she loves it so much, and it's really hard to explain to a 3-year-old that somebody would steal. It's not only our bikes, but it's the memory.
Bruno filed a police report and shared her experience on social media. Velo Quebec says reaching out to the community is a good idea.
It's also a powerful tool to ask the community to help and keep an eye out, because that's one thing that's been proven quite helpful, is to get the word out. And then if people see the bike on the street, in particular, if it's very specific, and then they can help you find your bike.
Magali Brebon points out that securing places for bikes needs to be a shared responsibility.
Workplaces have been doing quite a good job at that. Developers need to develop that as well, and I think they're understanding that there's a market and a demand for secure parking.
Bruno is holding out hope. She and her daughter will get their bike back.
So I don't know what else to do, but I love seeing at least the community come together and people, wanting to help, because who else is going to do it? Or how am I going to do it? I don't know what to do.
Hoping that sharing her story will help others. Daniel J. Rowe, CTV News.
It was a draw for CF Montreal last night against the Los Angeles Galaxy at Saputo Stadium. Prince Owusu continued his hot streak, tying the game with his 13th goal of the season. Daniel Rios scored the other goal for Montreal, and Chilean forward Alexis Sanchez made his first appearance at Saputo Stadium after making his debut during Wednesday's away game. The final score, 2-2. Well, during halftime, former Montreal Impact player Lloyd Barker was added to the team's Wall of Fame. Barker joined the Impact in its first season and helped the team win 2 league championships. Barker is the 8th player in the club's history to be inducted into its Wall of Fame. Well, the Montreal Roses were in action this afternoon at Boreal Stadium. After falling behind midway through the first half, Marie-Yasmine Alidou leveled the scoring right before halftime. Then early in the second half, Elise Bennett gave the Roses the lead. Calgary would tie the game with a goal in the 71st minute, and that's how it would end, 2-2, the final score. Well, one lucky Quebecer is $55 million richer this morning. The grand prize jackpot in last night's Lotto Max was won by a ticket purchased in Quebec. It's been a particularly lucky summer for Quebecers playing the lottery. This is the 4th Lotto Max jackpot to be won here since May. Turning to the weather now, it's currently 16 degrees in Montreal with a moderate risk of thunderstorms this evening, then partly cloudy and windy overnight. Tomorrow we could see more rain and thunderstorms midday with partly cloudy conditions expected most of the day, a high of 21. For the rest of the week, we could see more rain on Thursday and Friday, a mix of sun and cloud in the forecast for the rest of the week, with temperatures hovering in the low to mid-20s. Still ahead, it was quite the show in Vancouver. The dazzling display and the damage left behind. And robots compete against each other at lightning speed. With just 72 days until the midterms, Republicans in the U.S. are facing some challenging news in the latest polls. And that has Democrats optimistic about their chances in November. Steve Portnoy reports from Washington.
Democratic House Leader Hakeem Jeffries and Jared Kushner, President Trump's son-in-law and outside advisor, recently met privately, according to 2 people familiar with the meeting. The two men discussed an array of topics, including possible areas of common ground between Republicans and Democrats. Jeffries has neither confirmed nor denied the meeting, but in a statement told ABC News, "In every conversation that we have with the Trump administration, we will continue to make it explicitly clear that the affordability crisis is not a hoax, and nothing short of transformational policy change is acceptable."
There's no question that the White House is reaching out. They are making overtures. They're trying to figure out what the Democratic agenda might be because they know Democrats have a great chance of winning back the House as well as the Senate.
On Fox News, House Speaker Mike Johnson said he hadn't heard of the meeting, and he expressed confidence his party won't lose control of the House.
I don't know what that's about. I know Jared has interests and lots of other things going on. He's not really directly involved in the admin, at least in the day-to-day in the White House. I know Jared is a smart guy and he hedges bets, but I'm telling you what, you better not bet against the House Republicans.
Republicans are facing headwinds in recent polls, with the midterms less than 2.5 months away. But Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott telling ABC News he's not worried.
And that is, there's a choice at the ballot box. And when those voters go in, they're going to choose between common sense that's offered by Republicans versus the crazy that's offered by the Democrats.
Democrats, meanwhile, are cautiously optimistic about their chances of winning the net gain of 3 seats they'd need to take control of the House. And if they do, Hakeem Jeffries would be in line to become the next House Speaker. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
People in Vancouver were treated to a spectacular lightning show last night. The BC Wildfire Service says there were more than 7,000 lightning strikes recorded Saturday. It led to a complete shutdown of the Vancouver airport for more than 5 hours and sparked several new wildfires. Fortunately, many of the areas that saw lightning also received heavy rain. A new study shows the debate over Alberta separation has become a prime target for foreign influence. Researchers tracking the discussion have found Russian and American campaigns are trying to stoke division. It's something Alberta's premier has concerns with too. CTV's Jordan Kagan reports.
Months ahead of a referendum on whether to explore Alberta separation, the debate has gone far beyond Canadian borders.
Well, it's very clear that there is foreign interference.
Researchers at the University of Regina are using artificial intelligence to scan and analyze thousands of websites and social media, specifically tracking the separation debate. They found Russian-based sites attempting to shape the narrative.
Their goal is to have us start to turn on each other, is to no longer see someone who disagrees with you as someone who has a different opinion, who still cares about the country, but is actually an enemy of the country and is no longer, is sort of anti-Canadian.
Cypher AI found American influence is also present in the debate, trying to fuel disagreement ahead of the October 19th vote.
Some people pretend to be part of grassroots movements and they try to promote certain issues, but in reality, they actually belong either to a nation state or some groups that have some kind of invested interest in creating divisions.
Alberta's premier says she's been briefed by both CSIS and the RCMP, and there's been nothing criminal so far, but, quote, we are seeing influence campaigns that appear to be amplified by bot farms that may have a link to Russia. Smith told Omni TV Albertans need to be vigilant so that they're not inadvertently amplifying a message that is being used to interfere in our contest.
And so our effort is basically to identify and point that out in the sort of narratives and even the sources of those in order to be able to ensure that Canadians can have difficult conversations and that democratic dialogue.
Jordan Canigan, CTV News, Calgary.
Ukraine is celebrating National Flag Day. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was joined by leaders from Nordic and Baltic countries at a flag-raising ceremony in Kyiv. He thanked them for their support over the past 4.5 years since Russia's full-scale invasion. Finland's President Alexander Stubb said Ukraine's partners will continue their support for, quote, as long as it takes.
We might be standing here now in bright sunshine, and I might have felt when I took the train here this morning that I was traveling through the Ukrainian flag with yellow fields and a blue sky. But we all know that the winter is coming. We all know that it can continue to be difficult. But whatever happens, be sure you will win, you have won, and we will continue to support you.
A new cancer vaccine is now giving hope to those living with melanoma, the deadliest type of skin cancer. The vaccine is still undergoing trials. Yuri Benajud explains how it works.
Pharmaceutical companies Moderna and Merck announcing that their new mRNA vaccine showed promising results. The vaccine is personalized to each patient and built from a patient's own tumor. It uses the same technology as COVID vaccines. The shot works to teach the immune system to recognize the unique genetic fingerprint of the cancer. Merck and Moderna say when paired with an existing immunotherapy, the shot helped reduce the risk of cancer returning or spreading further. The companies still need to publish their full clinical trial results, including whether the shot helps patients live longer. While there are other cancer vaccines already approved by the FDA, experts say that this new vaccine represents a step forward in the field. It remains unclear when the companies may apply for the shot to be FDA approved, but this is certainly hopeful news for the 1.5 million Americans living with melanoma. Yuri Benajad, ABC News, New York.
Could freshwater mussels be part of the solution for keeping river water clean? A team of scientists in Chicago is putting the theory to the test. Noel Brennan reports.
Back when I was a kid, I wanted to be a farmer.
Like a farmer at the start of planting season.
Already, yeah.
Everett Krause.
Let's get out there.
Is eager to get to work.
It's excited to get them out in the water.
Instead of a field, he wades through the water of Salt Creek.
There's so many rocks I'm tripping over.
Just upstream of the old Graw Mill in Oak Brook. Everett is an ecologist, not a farmer.
Bingo.
But with the Forest Preserve District of DuPage County, he gets to plant a seed of sorts.
We've started affectionately referring to this as Johnny Appleseeding our mussels. Generally, we're just tossing the mussels out.
It's moving day for thousands of freshwater mussels.
You can see a very good size to them, very good color.
All of these mussels were raised in captivity.
They start their life in the lab at the Urban Stream Research Center.
The Forest Preserve runs the lab that's been working for a decade to breed and raise mussels.
It's very well known that they are among the most, if not the most, imperiled group of organisms on the planet.
Every mussel release plants a seed for recovery for the mussel population and the body of water they call home.
Generally, a single mussel can filter around 20 gallons of water a day.
So they're natural water filters in a sense?
Yep. Natural water filters, ecosystem engineers, a term that a lot of malacologists or mussel experts use is they are the liver of the river.
DuPage County has just hit a mussel milestone.
Oh yeah, we're over 50,000.
50,000 mussels and counting have been released.
We got one left.
Like a farmer, an ecologist gets to see the fruit of his labor.
That's it.
Noel Brennan, CBS News, Chicago.
More than 650 teams from 16 countries are gathered in China for the World Humanoid Robot Games, and records are being set. It's taken 17 years for anyone or anything to break Usain Bolt's 100-meter dash record. Until now, this robot ran the distance in 9.39 seconds yesterday. It's probably fair to say the end of Bolt's race was slightly less dramatic. Other events include boxing. Check out these two robots duking it out, complete with a victory dance after the blue is declared the winner. The games are not without their accidents, though. This sprinting robot took out part of the light-up courtside display on his way down, but at least he didn't burst into flames like this next guy. When we return, how families are balancing back-to-school spending amid economic uncertainty. And how a card collector managed to recover his stolen Pokemon cards. Children and teens' need for back to school isn't shrinking, but prices just keep going up. So how are families navigating back to school shopping during tough economic times? Sid Mukherjee is a professor of marketing at McGill and joins me now. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So what trends are you seeing around back to school shopping and how parents prioritize their spending?
Yes, so we definitely see that parents are spending more money on clothing, shoes, and school supplies this year. Those are the big ticket necessities. And families are becoming much more deliberate about when and where they buy these items. One thing that's important to note, according to a survey from the Retail Council of Canada, about 91% of Canadian parents say that back to school has become more expensive. Shopping for back to school has become more expensive. And about 62% of Canadian parents have already started their back to school planning in the late spring and in the early summer. So we're seeing that parents are starting their planning to shop for back to school supplies much earlier than usual. And they're taking more than one trip, 2 or 3 trips to finish their back to school shopping. So this shows a strategic move from the parental side to shop for deals and to buy back to school supplies with the best value.
That's so interesting. So really starting a lot earlier, not waiting for the very last minute. Young people, we know, are also being influenced by their friends, by social media. How much does that factor into parents' shopping decisions?
Yes, social media does play a big role when it comes into shopping decisions, and especially what's happening is that children are very much influenced by their peers on social media, right? So for example, a backpack for a child isn't just a functional product, it's a social signal, right? They look at what their peers and their friends are wearing. And so for the children, it's an important product. And so children are advocating for branded products based on what they see on social media. And that influences the parent decision, because the parents then take that into account and then buy that product for their child. So social media very much plays a role when it comes to moving a product into the evoke set, right? So into a consideration set, where parents are considering to buy that product based on what their child has seen on social media.
How are families then balancing the choice they need to make between, say, a name brand, certain value, the price of an object?
Canadian parents are very much price conscious. According to the survey by the Retail Council of Canada, about 85% of them say that the parents often look for promotions and discounts when deciding where to shop. So it's very much about getting the best value. And so Canadian parents are looking at mostly brick and mortar stores, but they've also been looking at online deals because the idea is to get the best value, the best bang for your buck, essentially.
All right, well, we'll have to leave it there. Sid Mukherjee, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Yes, thank you.
And while many parents are preparing for back to school, others are just getting started to get used to life at home without the kids. The transition to empty nesters can be difficult. Some college-bound kids are showing their parents love and appreciation. Will Gantz reports.
Typically, college drop-off looks something like this scene from Modern Family.
We're family. I'll try to make you proud.
You already have.
Let me in here!
But a new trend has kids flipping the script and celebrating their parents with empty nest parties.
She celebrates a lot of milestones for us, and I wanted to be able to give her some of that back.
Avery Engelman teaming up with her siblings to celebrate their mom on the eve of her becoming an empty nester.
It was wonderful. I was so surprised and at the same time so grateful. I had 3 letters from each one of my kids. I think it's one of the best gifts I've ever had.
Some college-bound kiddos decorating with childhood photos, signs, and nostalgic decor, often incorporating their parents' favorite treats and thank you notes into their own empty nest parties, which have now racked up millions of views on TikTok. Lauren Nelson secretly set up her parents' party in the basement, telling mom and dad there was a leak to get them both to go down there.
First, we were just thrilled that there was no water leak in the basement and touched. A lot of details went into it. It was just so thoughtfully put together.
Seeing you guys able to celebrate together after all the hard work you guys have put in just made me so emotional.
Lauren's now at the University of Georgia, but the send-off is still keeping the Kaler family spirits bright, even if the house is a little quieter these days.
For Lauren to be mature enough and wise enough to kind of reflect and do something like this, it just sums up Lauren.
Will Gantz, ABC News, New York.
He's only 5 years old, but a Calgary boy's IQ score is as high as Stephen Hawking and Benjamin Franklin. Now his next big test is kindergarten. Here's CTV's Tyler Barrow.
Peru, this one, Algeria.
After seeing their flags, Ali Aldalawi can list dozens of countries. His smarts don't end there.
He's also very funny, loud, creative, and curious. He will have to come down here. No, I will.
He's now 5 years old and already reading with ease, but he can also crunch numbers quickly, which is what he prefers.
Math or reading?
Math.
He's shy, but also super smart. Last fall, Ali scored 160 IQ, putting him in the top 0.1% of his age group. According to Mensa, the world's oldest high IQ society, a score of 100 is considered average. You only get to become a member if you're in the top 2% of the population or 130 IQ or higher.
As a mom and, as parents, I was so proud, to be honest.
Hassan noticed from the age of 2, Ali was curious and liked to build new things, using his imagination while asking questions beyond his age. That's why she had him take an IQ test.
Not only just a deep question, but he likes also to know the way or the things how, connect with each other.
And it runs in the family. His 10-year-old brother Omar and 7-year-old sister are Mensa members. Their parents are earning their PhDs in computer science and petroleum engineering at the University of Calgary. When Ali gained entry last December, at the time, only one other 4-year-old was a member in Canada.
They see patterns well on IQ tests, but they see it in life. They see it in math. They see the pattern in reading.
But Ali still enjoys being a kid. His favorite soccer player is Cristiano Ronaldo, which also explains his haircut.
As a mom, I feel happy, and I feel he will do very well.
Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Calgary.
Time now for In Case You Missed It. PWHL hockey teams hosted summer camps this past week, and the Montreal Victoire was no exception. The team says it saw a 500% increase in demand for its hockey programming last season. Christine Long has more.
Training tips from a Walter Cup winning coach.
They're going to go shoot on the net.
Stick handling with your favorite forward. 85 players, from house league to elite, aged 12 to 16, are attending the Victoire summer camp.
I just love that, you get to meet some really good players and make new friends and improve a lot.
Alexandra Labelle says she would have loved an experience like this as a young player.
Lucky to be around just girls and just having a camp, and also a camp where it's a team, a women's team who organized that in a professional team. So when I was younger, I didn't have this chance. So yes, I can see me dreaming when I was younger, and look at their eyes and they are so happy to be there. It makes me really happy.
The PWHL says they saw a 500% increase in demand for their hockey programming last season, and they're growing what they call grassroots hockey.
Winning the Walter Cup definitely increases eyes on the sport, on our players. Just as in general, the PWHL is obviously still in a building phase right now. We're going into season 4, and we have an opportunity to help grow the entire game.
Parents paid $425 each for their players to have an unforgettable week.
Well, the drill is you go maybe against some girls that are older than you, and you just want to compete, so you go to the max.
With 4 new PWHL teams joining the league this coming season, nurturing new talent is good planning.
Future players, they're a little young right now. It's we're running a camp. I don't think we're out here scouting, but we're certainly always keeping our eyes on the future generations.
Perhaps some future PWHL players right here. Christine Long, CTV News.
Still to come, a push for better resources to help gambling addicts. Some are calling for the government to better protect people with gambling addictions. While there are some safeguards already in place, critics say more are needed. CTV's Evan Kenny has more.
Gambling commercials like this one trigger Leif Gregerson. For years, he's been recovering from a gambling addiction.
People view it differently as other vices, really. And I do consider gambling to be a vice.
He wants to see Alberta's government do more to protect vulnerable people like him.
They have detox centers where people can go and get off drugs and alcohol, and it would be really good if there was something that was more available where people could do this type of gambling detox.
Alberta currently has a self-exclusion program. People voluntarily sign up and ban themselves from in-person and online gambling.
It aligned with the minister's request to ensure that there was one click of a button for Albertans to self-exclude from gaming in the province, and we certainly have provided that.
After hitting the sign up button on the self-exclusion website, it asks what you want to be excluded from and for how long. Alberta Gaming, Liquor and Cannabis says 600 people have registered for the program since iGaming legislation came into effect in July.
It's a good start, but let's not miss, the real issue here. The real issue is that they're making iGambling a lot easier.
This University of Alberta professor and emergency doctor says more safeguards need to be put in place. He wants to see the province spend more money helping people.
They say they're setting aside 1%. That's going to make no difference. It's got to be a number that is in relationship to the problem that it's actually causing. So 10% would be a good number.
I think the government needs to take more responsibility because, they've legalized more and more gambling, and they're always taking their cut, but they're not paying back into the damage it causes.
The self-exclusion program can last up to 3 years. AGLC says it would consider a lifetime self-exclusion in the future. Some professional supports are also available through the program. Evan Kenny, CTV News, Edmonton.
A BC Pokemon card collector says thieves stole thousands of dollars worth of cards from him, but one mistake helped him get them back. CTV's Kevin Chirac has the story.
Guys are gonna wait here? They thought they were showing up to sell some Pokemon cards. Instead, they were confronted by the man who says those cards had been stolen from him days earlier.
The mission was hold these guys down until the cops can get there and get my cards back.
Emilio Kian says just a few days before the confrontation at Metrotown, the same two men came to his Coquitlam home to complete a Facebook Marketplace transaction.
I put the cards in his hand. As soon as they're in his hand, he just starts running. A couple scabs, a little bit of road rash here,
He says these were the injuries he suffered after clinging to the getaway car before falling to the ground.
I called the cops. I let them know what happened. They kind of let me know, we can't really do that much.
But a few days later, friends flagged an online listing. The same Pokemon cards were back up for sale, using the exact same photos Kian had posted in his original advertisement.
I'm just thinking, you know what? These guys can't be the most intelligent of people.
So Emilio and his friends decided to set up a meetup, posing as new buyers with a plan to get the cards back.
Let's call the cops right now.
Recording it all on video sunglasses, Emilio and his friends confronted the men at the Burnaby Mall and held them there until police arrived.
There's a bit of mayhem going on for our officers to figure out what actually happened.
Police made 2 arrests at the scene, one adult and one youth who could face charges including theft. While the plan worked this time, RCMP say people should never confront suspects on their own.
Vigilantism can only cause problems because no one knows who has weapons. Even as the victim, if you show up and you harm someone, now you're looking at charges as well.
Kian says he went to police, but felt he wasn't getting the help he needed.
The police response, they really didn't seem like they were going to help me that much. One of the officers literally said if it was me, I'd probably just try and set them up myself. The holy grail here.
Kian got his cards back, though not without a little damage. He's sharing his story as a reminder to use caution when selling online and to consider meeting at a public place such as a police station.
I had no issues with the Pokemon community before this, no issues with marketplace meetups, but you really never know.
Kevin Chirac, CTV News, Coquitlam.
Thousands of people were in Toronto this weekend for 2 sold-out shows at Rogers Stadium, where K-pop supergroup BTS is performing.
Went and saw them in July in Belgium as well, and that was my first time ever seeing them. And then Nate and my sister coming with me on Sunday as well. So genuinely, I'm a little tired now, but the excitement is unbelievable.
The Saturday and Sunday shows are the only Canadian stops on their world tour. They haven't performed in Toronto since 2015, and the band has been on hiatus since 2022. There's also no shortage of fans trying to get their hands on some BTS merch. This was a scene hours before the shop opened. Well, one of Canada's longest-running TV shows is now filming its 20th season. Alicia Fieldberg has more from the set of Heartland.
Alberta's scenery and culture fills millions of televisions worldwide thanks to a TV series now filming its 20th season.
26 Apple, take one. Hotel mark.
Heartland follows a family running a horse ranch in a fictional Alberta town, but films entirely in real Alberta communities, including High River and Millerville.
When I took this job 20 years ago, I really don't think I knew just how much it was going to shape my life. It was season 3 when I decided to move full-time from Ontario out to Alberta.
Tom Erickson already lived here and loved horses, so applied to be the stunt coordinator back when the show began.
No idea that I was going to end up being a person that was involved with the motion picture business. It's been a whirlwind of experience, you know, rodeo, horse jumping, jousting.
Other Albertans worked their way up throughout the decades.
I started as a junior in the writing department 20 years ago.
Heartland holds the record as Canada's longest-running one-hour scripted drama series, something nobody saw coming when it started.
It's the holy grail as far as my industry is concerned, so would I be surprised? Yeah. Shocked out of my boots.
It's a point of pride for Sean Johnston, who grew up on a Ponoka farm.
Bringing this territory and this kind of people to the world is something we can be proud of.
Heartland has created thousands of local jobs and generated hundreds of millions of dollars in economic activity.
If somebody can grab onto a position on Heartland, they know they've got some security.
It also draws a lot of tourists.
People from around the world that come to Alberta just to experience the Heartland world.
Heartland has viewers in more than 120 countries, including a big fan base in the UK, Australia, Brazil, and Southeast Asia. In 2023, it was the 9th most streamed TV show in the United States.
That it speaks to so many people is really about the stories that we tell. They're kind of universal stories about families, the struggles and the joys.
Stories this team hopes to continue telling for some time.
They're always talking about the 5-year plan, so maybe we'll be having the same conversation in season 25.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Millerville.
Coming up, are Gen Z officially old?
Wait, I'm literally obsessed!
A new trend has Gen Alpha making Zoomers feel like boomers. Moment in the generational divide. You know you've arrived when the kids complain about how cringe you are. And now, for Zoomers, their time has apparently come. Here's Danny New.
2, 1.
I suppose the time has come.
Wait, I'm literally obsessed!
When now Gen Z is old enough to be mocked by the next generation.
Were you trying to make fun of Gen Z the way that people online think that you were?
Yes, they do it so ridiculously. It's actually insane.
Tosha here is a 12-year-old member of Gen Alpha who, for the past few weeks...
First, as you know, we're going to do ASMR.
...has been picking up millions of views for her impersonations of the 20-something-year-old influencers she sees trying food on her feed. However, some are now lauding her as a hero. One commenter writing, Gen Alpha serving karma to Gen Z on behalf of us millennials.
What would your advice be to Gen Z?
Maybe don't exaggerate on a strawberry.
For the record, though, Tosha, her mom Anna, and her sister Paula were not the first to come up with this idea. But they do have a unique way of taking on trends from their home in Scotland, which means, yes, Tosha is actually putting on an American accent, too.
Do you have a favorite American word or phrase you like to say in an American voice?
Orange. Let's go.
I absolutely hate this.
But is their carefree comedy now bordering on poignancy? I asked 2 of ABC's younger staff members to watch and give their feedback.
Very good impression. I just hate
Difficult
that.
to watch, though.
Yeah, it's difficult to watch.
Some amazingly orange carottes.
But for Tosha and Paula, they know one day their time will come too, from Generation Beta.
Like the Gen Betas are going to be making fun of us.
How will that feel?
I'd be upset. Funny. It's funny, but I'd be upset.
By the way, Tosha and Paula said the other word they're obsessed with hearing Americans say is block. Block, 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 block. In New York, for ABC News Block, I'm Danny New.
An orphaned polar bear cub has a new home at a zoo in Manitoba. The cub comes from the shores of Hudson's Bay. The zoo says polar bear cubs orphaned in their first year cannot survive in the wild. He's being assessed by a veterinary team, and it's expected he'll thrive with the other bears at the zoo. Taking a final look at the forecast, it's currently 16 degrees in Montreal with a moderate risk of thunderstorms this evening, then partly cloudy. Tomorrow, we could see more rain and thunderstorms midday with partly cloudy conditions. Most of the day, a high of 21. The rest of the week, we could see rain Thursday and Friday. The temperatures are going to be hovering in the low to mid-20s. Well, that's it for us. We'll see you back here at 11:30. Have a good night, everyone. Take care.